Product Design and Technology. Today is Friday, June the 5th. This video leads on from chair designing at a chair mock-up scale to chair designing at a final model scale. And here's a skeleton of the final model. And just below is a series of swatch blocks of potential coverings and tones for both the chair padding and colour for the timber itself for the model in preparation for making the chair at actual scale. Okay, so leading on from the last video, what is plus, minus and interesting about your chair mock-up? That is, what works well, what could be improved, and what potential does your chair have in enlarging in its scale. Okay, so with the skeleton of this chair, like the mock-up, it's made up of a series of templates that is cut out, which are joined together using at least a couple of joints that were developed from our practice joints that were in the last video. So in the case of this plywood chair, it includes mortise and tenon slots and housing slots as well, such as this brace that hooks between the top and the bottom of the back of the chair. Okay. This model is constructed using 4mm thick pine plywood. But to make this in full scale, which would be about 4 times the size of this one, this can be either be constructed in plywood or also natural timbers. Okay, the focus today is creating a number of swatch blocks to show your client and your end users. So as a group, you can choose what colour combination you're going to apply to your final model. Okay, so given that this is a padded armchair, examples here from material coverings include patterns, stripes, textured purple, textured yellow, and in terms of colouring the timber, I've got orange and I've got a wash of crimson, and I'll explain why I've watered down the pigmented ink for this tone in a moment. And here's just the raw pine plywood. Okay, so making a choice is also making a match between, in this case, the seat covers together with the timber. So I've cut these blocks so they'll actually fit into the mock-up model. There's a bit of a compare and contrast. And also for related, the timber tones together with the materials. Okay. Okay, and through that process, I chose to create a watered down wash of crimson for the plywood because I wanted to imitate the effect of mountain ash, also known as Vic ash, which is a timber that grows locally in Victoria. And that has been a consideration in creating this chair at the final scale. So then it was a case of comparing this tinted timber with the 4 sample seat covers. And what I've decided on is I've made a match here with the purple covering. Okay, so there you can see the relationship there with the purple seat and the slightly pinkish toned timber. And then going up in scale, applying it, seeing how it looks onto the chair model itself. So there's the contrast. Purple with a light pink tone. Okay, so our next step is to create a number of swatch blocks, comparing different tones together for your timbers, and if your chair does have a seat cover, comparing the material with the coloured timber as well. Looking forward to applying this to the chair model itself.